Hi, Anaide. Thank you for your essays. Now let's have a look at both of them. So the first one was about schools that have to be more entertaining, while others think that their sole purpose is to educate. So let's go. There's an increasing debate that schools should be an entertaining place, not entertainment place, entertaining as an adjective. Or they instead of it, must be focused on teaching only. You would like to add only. In my opinion, educational systems should concentrate on evolving its intelligence, evolving or developing, because if you say evolving intelligence, you mean the intelligence which progresses. What you mean probably, though correct me if I'm wrong, you mean developing or building this intelligence, teaching it. This essay will discuss both sides using school systems from Finland and the study from Oxford to demonstrate points and develop arguments. You need the verb, not the noun here. This is a very nice introduction, very nice. Very good topical vocabulary. Just pay attention to minor grammatical errors like the ones that I have corrected. So your first body paragraph. Firstly, educational systems should put their efforts in teaching and developing knowledge of their students. This is largely because most parents work for longer hours and do not have enough time to teach and prepare their children for professional and personal lives. Factual doubt from me. Do parents actually have to prepare their children for professional life? I mean, it is already a tradition, a social tradition, so to say, or convention that parents don't do that. Educational institutions do that. So you kind of state a thing which is obvious. Careful with that. I mean, we don't want to say that the water is wet, right? For example, schools in Finland have created classes with a myriad of purposes where students can learn about math at the same time when they learn how to do their laundry. Yes, well, practical things, exactly. It's not about professional life, it's mostly personal life. That's true. Laundry, not laundries. Therefore, educational establishments have an enormous responsibility in educating their community for modern life. I don't think you have quite enough arguments to finish with educating the community for modern life. Doing your laundry is not, let's say, the most important skill for modern life. So you might want to bring more examples of practical skills or, let's say, practical abilities that are required in modern life, not only as a household chore. Next, additionally, new teaching methodologies could be used to improve cognitive development and behavior from pupils' possessive behavior. Current teaching methods in developed countries already combine subjects to help students assimilate the topics better, not more the topics better. For instance, a recent study from Oxford University demonstrated that by using ludic materials, impressive, like the word ludic, very few native speakers know how this word works. So great, appropriate use of extremely complex vocabulary. Yes, that means related to play. We know that. But yes, great job. Teachers can increase concentration and interest of their scholars. No, scholar is a researcher, is a person who does research. If you mean pupils, students, trainee is more for a practical thing. So concentrate on students or pupils. Or for those that they have in charge. I mean, that's not the best example. No, students, pupils. Consequently, schools can use entertainment and non-traditional ways to educate, but the focus will still be on teaching. Very good argumentation, very convincing. You're one of the most convincing IELTS candidates who wrote this essay and formulated a very good argument in this respect. I combine the two. Look, there are examples of that. What's bad about both? Amazing. To conclude, from the examples, I would not use this comma and say to conclude based on the examples and arguments mentioned above, um, comma, I would agree that the main goal of school should be to educate. It is predicted that in the future, education will use more often entertainment as an important tool to improve intelligence of children. You can also say based on the facts and let's say realia and on the current experience, again in Finland, for instance, it might be predicted that in future this and this will happen. Try not to use the categorical it is predicted. You don't know what is predicted. We don't have the data for that, but you can be tentative. So this is a very good essay. The only thing that mars the quality of your essay is your minor errors in grammar, vocabulary, word order, punctuation here and there. So if you get rid of this, you will get quite a good score for this essay. So because you are on topic in terms of task achievement, your coherence is very nice. You use linking words to advantage. Again, vocabulary and grammar suffer from these minor errors. Now let's have a look at essay 2, and I'm going to move it to another page. Doing an enjoyable activity with a child can develop better skills and more creativity than reading. So to what extent do you agree? Reasons and examples. Okay, 4 paragraphs. Let's go. There's an increasing debate whether, not if, whether. If you use, if you intend to show the alternative here, you should use whether, not if. Whether children that learn from other methods than reading are better for their cognitive development. There's a problem here. Your sentence says whether children are better for their cognitive development. So it's difficult to understand what you're asking. With the methods that with the children that learn using other methods, it's not methods. You teach using methods. You don't learn using, I wouldn't use methods. I would say strategies. So how should we change this? Whether children who are taught using methods other than reading are smarter or are better in their cognitive development than the ones who use only reading. So you have to show the alternative. You don't show the alternative. Whereas some people argue that reading is the best way to develop their skills. Whose skills? Because this there refers to people. You probably refer to children, right? Children or student skills or young learners skills. Again, children could be renamed, restated as young learners. Others argue that stimulating their creativity by playing is a more effective practice. Effectivity is a noun. Careful, you probably want an adjective. In this essay, I will discuss why using enjoyable activities is better for the development of children based on arguments. You don't use a school. You use arguments about, or let's say you're using facts, or using facts about a school from Canada and a report from United Nations to demonstrate points and develop arguments. Okay, good, clear. Firstly, integrating fun activities for teaching kids is a good way to improve their skills. Okay, where is this going? This is largely because children's imagination depends on non-traditional methodology like reading. What? I'm not sure what I've just read. This is largely because children's imagination depends on what? I would say, if I close my eyes and think, how would I finish? Children's imagination depends on, I would finish this. It depends on constant stimulation. It depends on varying the activities, avoiding boredom, but not, I wouldn't say that imagination depends on methodologies. That's one. Two, Is reading a non-traditional methodology? Are you sure you haven't made an accidental mistake? Because people would say that reading is a traditional approach to teaching. So again, I'm not sure where you're going with this sentence. So this is a problem with coherence because I don't understand how things connect. For example, one of the best schools in Canada just implemented or has just implemented a fun class to build stories with students from 5 to 8 years old. I might argue that it's not just one of the best schools. That's a very typical thing to do in primary school. But again, never mind. Oh, wait a second. It's also not clear what do you mean by building stories? Like children build stories all the time. Do you mean writing books together? Do you mean writing a script and then enacting a play together? It is not clear enough what is meant by this. The example looks very promising. I really like it, but I think you might want to develop it a bit more so that you clearly support your argument. Consequently, by putting children from different ages to make stories together and play it, improves their creativity. Okay, I wouldn't use consequently. I would use this shows how, or this example, or this practice. I would even say practice. This practice shows how putting children together, children of different ages, together, and making them write stories together or come up with stories together and play them or enact them, improves their creativity. Yeah, this is what I meant by the development. I simply haven't read on. Sorry for that. Secondly, children increase their concentration when they do physical movement. Movement means exercise in general. Movements mean like raising your hand or lifting your leg. It is proven that pupils cannot stay for long hours focusing on one activity. True. For instance, a study published by United Nations reports, no, a report is a study, okay? So, or a study published in or quoted or cited by a United Nations report greatly recommends that reading classes intercalate, nice word, or let's say alternate. Alternate would be more appropriate because intercalate means to put something in something else. Physical activity with reading books every 20 minutes. Yes, that's a good idea. Like reading text and then jumping or running around the classroom. Yes, but this sentence is not a sentence. It's a fragment. It's a hand. It's an arm of a sentence. It's incomplete. So I advise put a comma here after minutes. Don't capitalize like, and you simply have a clause, a subordinate clause that explains a detail in the main clause in the bigger sentence. Therefore, physical exercise will help students to assimilate their subject better by improving their concentration. Very good argument, very appropriate, great example, awesome. Just fix the grammar. In conclusion, amusing activities should be incorporated to advance, not advanced. Several skills certain skills. Several means, I'm not sure how many, 1, 2, or 3. Certain means, well, let's say your concentration or hand-eye coordination, some of them. I totally agree that pleasant learning is more effective than just reading. Yes, it is predicted that by using fun methods, schools will have a better education. It is predicted again. Well, I know it is in the C2 template, and I know I'm kind of going against the course, but be very careful how you use it is predictive. You can say that something is predictive only if you know 100% or you have the data, you have the research that this will happen. You can't say that this will happen, that if you use this, schools will have a better education. You might say that thus many are hopeful that by using fun methods, schools will have a better education, but it is predicted, it is very categorical. So you might want to avoid categorical language. So the second essay is needs slightly more work than the first one. As I told you, I am not sure what you meant by the sentence with the depends on non-traditional methodologies like reading, because this is completely confusing. I mean, it's surprising, it's startling. It looks like a complete error. So you might want to revisit the places that I suggested. Again, work on your grammar, work on your vocabulary, because very often this is what takes away the quality from your writing. You're mostly coherent, you use linking words well, but work on your sentence structure as well. Your ideas are appropriate, your examples are appropriate, your paragraphing is good. So, I mean, very good. So this being said, I really hope that you improve based on our feedback, and keep up the good work.